If you have ever had a nightmare of a first date, I want to hear about it in the comments down below. And we are cheersing to if you got through it, because that takes a lot. So cheers. I hope you're having a good day. You already know it's cucumber water in my cup. Cheers. I was hanging out with a guy I met through a mutual friend. We got ice cream and went back to sit in his car to listen to music while we ate it. This is sounding like a pleasant date. I'm curious how this goes wrong. He shared his taste in music with me while rubbing my head and playing with my hair. I didn't quite know how to feel, but I figured he was trying to be romantic. Not too long after this, he got to the bottom of his ice cream cone, the kind with the chocolate on the inside, the best ice cream cones, and said, "This is your a-hole." He then tried to show off his, can I say that? Rimming skills, I guess. Maybe he thought the chocolate would be cute. I'm cringing just typing this out. Not a good memory. Not a good memory at all. I would be absolutely mortified, for one. And number two, I don't think I would ever look at an ice cream cone the same ever again. I still don't think I'm gonna look at an ice cream cone the same ever again. Just from your story. One time I went on a date with this guy I'd known since high school, and I was already nervous because he was a jerk in high school. So you were giving the jerk a chance. When he picked me up, he mentioned how nice I looked and talked about how much I was going to love the restaurant we were going to. It ended up being amazing, but then he got a call from a weird number. We went outside and left me there for about 5 minutes. Then he came back and said he needed to confess that he actually had 15 girlfriends because one was not enough. How do you have time for 15 girlfriends? I was completely over the date at that point and said we needed the check. He said he would cover for me, but first he needed to use the bathroom. He actually left. And I had to pay for everything. Last week, he called me saying how much he missed me and asked me to meet him at a coffee bar to talk about our date from last year. It turned out it was a prank and he didn't show up to meet. So yeah, just awful. What a terrible situation. You know what? Sometimes you give people a second chance. You're like, all right, he was a jerk in high school. Maybe he's grown up and matured and changed. And then sometimes you realize they haven't. You tried to be the bigger person. It honestly sounds like with the 15 girlfriends and like the ditching on paying for dinner, it sounds like he's just like scamming all these people. Like I'm asking them out on a date just to get a free meal. Pretty sure there's a documentary about that. I was asked out by a guy that used to be a customer at a coffee shop I worked at. He always seemed nice enough. For our first date, we went to a nice restaurant and he would not stop talking about how nice my eyes were and said, "I'd love to take your eyes and just put them in a jar on my bedside table." I definitely made an excuse to leave and got the hell out of there. Yup, you sure did. You better frickin' skyrocket out of there. Are you kidding me? I would change jobs because now you know that customer's gonna keep coming in to stare at your eyes that he wants in a jar next to his bed. Ugh. That is so creepy. And it started off so normal. All you had to say was you have beautiful eyes. That's it. That's it. Why do you gotta make it creepy? Why do you gotta be like serial killer vibes? 3 months after a boob job, I decided to go on my first date after fully recovering and feel good about myself. I'd only gone up 2 sizes to a modest C cup and I wore a tank top and jeans. Nothing too revealing. My date was nice but drank neat whiskey. After about 4 of those, oh no, he told me to pull up my top because a guy was looking at me. He then leaned over and pulled it up aggressively himself. You know what that calls for? That calls for a... Don't you dare put your fingers near me. We left and went to a bar, but I wanted to leave. He was being overly touchy, kept pulling out my clothes to cover me, and told me to keep my jacket on inside. Yeah, you're not gonna tell me how to dress or what to do. I went to the bathroom and a security guard followed me and asked if I was okay. I said I wanted to leave but didn't want him to walk me to the station. 2 minutes later, the security guard came back with a girl he knew in the bar, introduced us, and told me to say I knew her from university and leave with her and her friends. God bless this security guard. I walked out of the bathroom with her, introduced her to my date, then basically grabbed my bag, said I was going outside to smoke, and I left him. I ended up making a best friend for life. Oh my gosh, it's been 7 years since that happened, and we are thick as thieves and love telling the story of how we know each other. Wow, this just gives me so much hope for the world. Bless that security guard for noticing the behavior, noticing she felt uncomfortable, noticing that man was being too touchy, and then to help her to this extent. This is genius. Oh, we need more people like this in the world. We really do. I met a girl at work and we decided to get drinks the next night. She brought her mom and aunt to meet me, FaceTimed her, on the date? FaceTimed her kid to introduce me, started freestyling, then told me how her baby daddy stabbed the last guy Wow, this is a lot to take in. Here you are being like, met a girl at work, we're just grabbing some casual drinks. You're meeting the family, meeting her child over FaceTime. The freestyling, I got a lot of questions about that. And then yeah, you have the potential of being stabbed because her baby daddy clearly has crazy anger issues. Is the baby daddy in prison? That is what I would like to know. And is the last guy you dated alive? And well, did he heal from this incident? Or I got a lot of questions about this one. I don't even know if I want the answers to them. During my husband's single days, he used a dating website and went on his worst date ever. The girl agreed to meet up with him, but asked if she could bring her friends along. My husband agreed, and when he picked her up for the date, he was shocked to find out that her friends were actually her parents. Bless his heart. He still went out to dinner with her while her parents sat at a separate table. There wasn't a second date, which was lucky for me because I snatched him up a few years later. Well, it all worked out. I'm just confused. Bringing your parents on a date is a little strange, let's be honest. But they weren't sitting with you, so they were sitting at another table. So like, was it because of like a protection thing? I don't know. I feel like that's just a bit extreme and a bit uncomfortable for everybody. Clearly not for them, but how do you feel about cannibalism? Follow that up by asking me if I'd ever eat a human. Okay. Report this person to the police. Flag it now before you see this person starring in the next true crime documentary. I'm not even kidding. You better flag that. That's an issue. I went on a Tinder date to the movies when I was 18. He picked me up in his truck and played terrible, loud, depressing music. What a way to set the mood. In the theater, he was on his phone swiping through Tinder the whole time. Then leaned over and told me I was lucky to be out with him because all those other girls wanted to be with him. Yikes. My roommate picked me up when I excused myself to the bathroom. Oh, yeah, well, you can just call one of all those other girls to come meet you to watch the rest of the movie. You have so many. Funny how you were free tonight and you asked me, but okay. Okay, you have so many choices. After knowing each other for about an hour, he told me he had never wanted kids before, but the moment we met, he, quote, felt it biologically.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Then he told me he wanted to be my son's stepfather as well. Okay. This is nice in theory. Yeah, I'm sure if we were dating and our relationship had progressed, this would be lovely to hear. But knowing me for an hour, like that just freaks me out. I've known you for an hour. Don't talk about being my son's stepfather and feeling it biologically to have children with me. We've met, ooh. I don't know. Like to me, I'm like, that would freak me out. I talked to a guy on a dating app and we met and we met at a local restaurant. When he got out of his car, I saw that he was clearly at least 15 years older than his profile picture. You little catfish. But he seemed nice, so I stayed. Big mistake. His table manners were awful. Then, during conversation, while telling me about his family, he said, quote, I'm the only married one out of all my siblings. I waited for him to realize the slip up. He didn't. So I said, married? I looked at his ring finger and could see the outline from his band. He tried to hide his hand under the table. When we got up to go to the restroom, when he got up to go to the restroom, I called the server over, paid for my dinner, and quickly finished my meal. By the time he got back, I was ready to go. I said a quick goodbye and left. Just gross. You're married. You're 15 years older than you said you are. You're going on a date. Just all around. Gross behavior. Your wife is very lucky. I ran into a guy from high school years after graduation and he invited me to meet up with him and some of our friends who I had lost contact with. Well, when I got to the restaurant, there was nobody else there, just him. Yep, I was ambushed into an unwanted date. Oh, you thought you were going for like a little high school reunion hangout. No, you on a date, girlfriend. To make it worse, he just told the waitstaff we were on a date and to take their time. 2 hours later. 2 hours later. That's what that reminds me of. I was finally able to leave. He walked me to the car, even though I asked him not to. And when I went to get in, he blocked me and leaned in for a kiss, which I was not down for at all. It was a dark parking lot and there was nobody around. Super sketchy. Well, something at dinner did not agree with him. I turned my head to the side and went for a friendly hug instead of his attempted kiss, and his bowels unloaded. It was the loudest and gnarliest fart I have ever heard. It happened the second the hug commenced and it didn't let go. Wait, what? Oh, and he didn't let go until the fart was done. Then he tried to kiss me again. I deflected into another awkward hug and he farted. I can't even take this seriously right now. I can't. And he farted again. All in all, it was at least 45 seconds of combined butt blast. In the end, he made eye contact and said, "Let's do this again." Let's fucking not. There's a list of 10 things that I would rather do than do this again. Swim with alligators. Eat a frickin' snake. Like, there are so many things, sir. No thank you. Hard pass. Hard pass indeed. All right, guys, if you have a horrible date story, you know I want to hear it, especially if it includes some art. I'm getting out of here. Good luck if you are dating out there. Good luck. You stay safe, okay? See you tomorrow. Stay classy and stay sassy.